Alright, what is up guys? It is Robert at Gaming With Me, and welcome to a video talking about the Nintendo Switch generation. I did this back when the PS5 and Series X came out 5 years ago at this point, which is crazy. I looked back at the PS4 generation, I looked back at the Xbox One generation, and I'm going to continue the tradition. New console, Nintendo Switch 2 is releasing on June 5th. I cannot wait, super damn excited for it. And so I thought I look back at the Switch generation and just see how this console turned out to be and how I felt about it and my experience with it. And let's just say I think the Switch generation, I don't know how Nintendo is going to top it. I don't know how Nintendo is going to top it. Switch 2, the launch is already looking really good to me personally, but like that Switch generation, what happened back in 2017 when it started, you know, after the Wii U that I love the Wii U is my favorite console of all time, but in terms of console library, I gotta go with Switch. I ain't even gonna lie to you. I gotta go with Switch, and I'm not even like genuinely done with everything for Switch. Nintendo absolutely knocked it out of the park with this console. I mean, just from the design alone, the fact that it is a handheld and a console that I could dock and we could just play was such a foreign concept back in 2017 when it first released. And to think that was like, yeah, this is a thing is like mind-boggling. You know, for me, look, I love my Nintendo games. I think they make some of the best games of all time. And for me, it was like a no-brainer that I was going to be excited for the Switch. But it was so much things that I was excited about for the Switch. You know, the Switch was that. It was a console and a handheld hybrid. It was like, holy shit. I was asking for that for literally years, and I thought about it from the beginning. That was like, if you combine the sales, you're going to shoot above the Wii. You're going to make so much sales. And what do you know? It's about to cross the DS, and hopefully, very likely, will surpass the PS2, even if it takes a couple more years. But it's like, as the best-selling console of all time. And it's like, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Again, handheld Nintendo consoles just never seem to be low numbers. It just happened to be the Wii U was low numbers in terms of consoles, but if you were to combine that and the 3DS, you'd have a ton. You'd have like, what, 90 million? Something like that. So it's like, I get it. I mean, to be fair, 150 is a lot higher than 90 anyway. Like, the Switch was a runaway success. It absolutely did fantastic, and I will always remember that day where it's like, wow, you have this one software library. I don't have to split the handheld and the console. Teams don't have to work on two different games. They could just work on one platform. Was a dream. It was a dream for me, and to think that we were playing Breath of the Wild. Yes, the cool new Switch console launched with one of the greatest games of all time as an amazing launch title. It was like, holy crap. Breath of the Wild was a game changer. You know, it was literally, again, changed the industry in terms of how we view open worlds, and it inspired many other ones, including stuff like big old Elden Ring. You know, it was a huge leap for how you traverse an open world and how you just do an open world. And Breath of the Wild still to this day is fantastic, as also they released a sequel, Tears of the Kingdom, and it's fantastic, and I believe it's actually probably better than Breath of the Wild. And it's nuts when you think about that. Two epic gargantuan Zelda games, both on the Nintendo Switch, and oh yeah, we have another top-down one that is features Zelda, and they released that. It's nuts. Their first party output for the Switch is staggering. When you look back at it, you're like, holy crap, this is so impressive. I am behind on games, so like I'm playing games from like 2022 right now. So if you know that means I still have games that I haven't played. I did play Tears of the Kingdom and Mario Brothers Wonder, but like you know, I didn't play Forgotten Land yet. I didn't play Xenoblade Chronicles 3 yet. I'm yet to play Emio, Famicom Detective Club, Mario and Luigi Brothership. some other games that's not coming quite to my mind right now. There's still a decent amount of first-party games that I want to play and will play throughout the first couple of years of the Switch 2's life. Because there was just so much on the Switch that it was like, it was nuts. It's nuts. It's so impressive, the library, because it was so diverse with so many different franchises and so many different genres, and you're like, holy crap, this is so impressive. If you could see this sea of red, I also have some behind here you can't see, but I think I have almost 100 Switch games. By the time I reach 2025 in Nintendo Switch library, I definitely will have over 100 Switch games for sure. I think I already do, but I haven't counted. But I did count how many first-party Nintendo exclusives. I didn't count remakes like Link's Awakening, but I have 42 original first-party Nintendo games for the Switch so far. Keyword is so far. That's nuts. They had a crazy output this generation. I mean, like, again, I'm not even talking about from 2025. I'm talking from technically 2022. You know what I mean? Like, I have not picked up Forgotten Land yet. I'll end up probably just picking that up and then upgrading to the Switch 2 edition. But it's like, wow, that is impressive as hell. I do have a few that I haven't played yet. Like, I own Xenoblade Chronicles 3 and I own Emio, but I haven't played those yet. That's extra details. But 42 is so impressive from Nintendo. You know, I mean, they always release a ton every generation, but 42 is a big number. That is a library by itself. Imagine someone who just like has half of that or like 25% of that. They're still chilling. Most people probably pick up like 5 games a generation. 5 to 10, I'll say. And if it was, you could do that with Nintendo in this case. They have so many different genres and everything. It's like, yeah, you could do that. Especially with the Switch. It was just that incredible of a lineup. Right off the bat with 2017, you had Breath of the Wild. You had Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which I really just count for the Booster Course Pass because you had like 48 new tracks over the past couple years, which was amazing. You know, that shit's crazy. You had ARMS, Splatoon 2, Mario Plus Rabbids. You had Fire Emblem Warriors, which I don't even own. Super Mario Odyssey. Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Like, that is a crazy first, 9 months? That's insane. It's insane. Absolutely insane. And those are all first-party games from Nintendo. They were like, yeah, we releasing games, bruh. We releasing games. And not only that, but they had eShop games with like snipper clips. Like, that was day one. And that was a cool concept, which I don't think they developed it, but they published it. I'm pretty sure they own the IP. I actually don't 100% know that. The representation for first-party titles was nuts. I mean, if you think about it, damn near every franchise that they have got represented on Switch. The only things that was a con to this system is some didn't. That was like some major ones. Mario Kart. Now we're getting Mario Kart World, you know, but it's like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe sold so well, you know, why are you going to release a Mario Kart on Switch? It didn't make any sense. And I actually predicted that back in 2017. You can go see, will Mario Kart 8 affect Mario Kart 9? And I said, I don't think they're going to release this thing on Switch. And that happened. At least with Mario Kart, you did get the awesome Booster Course Pass, so it does count for something for me personally. It's not a brand new game, but you know, it filled us with some Mario Kart goodness for sure. And then obviously Donkey Kong. It's like, what the fuck? How does it know Donkey Kong? You know, but we now are getting Donkey Kong Bonanza on Switch 2, which looks awesome. 3D Donkey Kong, which is crazy. But Retro never got their own game. Well, now they're gonna have Metroid Prime 4. But that's the thing, is like the Switch 2 is not even done, man. You still got a Metroid Prime 4. You got Pokemon Legends ZA. Next year you got Rhythm Heaven Groove and Tamagotchi Life. Come on. Especially those two games are so up my alley. I'm like, hells yeah, that's great. That's fucking awesome. So while they did miss some pretty big IPs like that, and Star Fox and F-Zero to a degree, at F-Zero 99, I know a lot of people love that. I'm not gonna take it away from that, but you know, come on. Not only that though, they also made a lot of unexpected reappearances. Again, Famicom Detective Club. We never had those games out in Japan, so they were like, I mean, in Japan, we never had to get back out in the US. And so I had them translated in this beautiful remake of these two Famicom Detective Club games that were brand new games for us, and they are fantastic. They're some of my favorite on the system. Absolutely love Famicom Detective Club. And then they made a brand new one, literally for everyone from all countries. Emio, brand new one. Apparently it's fantastic. I'm excited to eventually play one of these days. But yeah, I bought it to at least support it for sure. Stuff like Endless Ocean came back. You know, I had to mix reviews, but it came back. You know, that's crazy. You know, Endless Ocean skipped a generation, so it's cool to see that return. You got stuff like Clubhouse Games also skipped a generation. That returned. And that's a really fucking solid minigame like collection. Well, it's not even really minigames, it's literally board game stuff. And it's an amazing Nintendo charm-filled collection of games. And I highly recommend anyone to pick up 50 Worldwide Classics Clubhouse Games. It's a great ass package. Hell, even something like Metroid Dread. I mean, Metroid Dread is a fantastic game. A brand new 2D Metroid. What was it, 20 years or something like that? Like some crazy number. It was like, yeah. Oh yeah, by the way, that's back on Switch. The lineup is nuts. And to have unexpected ones like that, it just makes it even better. But not only that, but they still had the experimental titles that were so fantastic. Well, at least the one that I played, which I always have to shout out, and that is Ring Fit Adventure. Ring Fit Adventure sold like, what was it, 15, 16 million copies? Some crazy number like that. And it deserves every single copy. And by the way, that was an $80 game, but to be fair, it comes with the whole ring con, you know what I mean? But it is actually it's surprising that it sold that well with that. But I guess, you know, to be fair, Wii Fit also did with the Wii Balance Board. But Ring Fit Adventure is one of the best RPGs of all time. Flat. That's all I'll say. I genuinely believe it's one of the best RPGs of all time. It's literally a game that works you out, but it's also just a damn good game. It's not like Wii Fit where it's like mini game stuff. No, this is an RPG that in order to progress, you have to bust your ass. And it's great. I absolutely love it. It's one of the best games on Switch, man. Ring Fit Adventure, absolutely fantastic. And so unique. It's so unique to anyone. There's no other game like that at all out in the world. And it takes advantage of the Joy-Cons, which is so damn cool. It'd be the only way you could really do it. There's two other games I still want to pick up, and that's Nintendo Labo and Mario Kart Live. Both experimental, you know, Labo with the whole cardboard and stuff. Cool, weird, quirky idea that, you know, I wish I would like to buy one of these days, but I also don't really have space to be putting stuff in. That's one of the things about that. And that's another thing about Mario Kart Live. You're building your own racetracks out in the actual world, and you have these Mario Kart RC cars with cameras on, and it looks really damn cool. And note again, those are two other games that I at least want to pick up. You know, Labo technically is a variety of games, so. But yeah, Mario Kart Live is one I want to eventually pick up. I'm sure it's going to be getting quite expensive eventually, so I should pick it up sooner rather than later. Another experimental game that I did pick up and also really enjoyed way more than I thought was Game Builder Garage. Game Builder Garage is a game that I thought I'd, you know, spend, you know, I don't know, a few hours in and download some people's things and play over time. But instead, there's an actual like story mode in it, and it has again that Nintendo charm, bro. Like every single little code that you have to put into the game talks and has its own unique personality. It's so damn good, and I put over like 20 something hours or something like that in just the tutorials. Which again, I say tutorials, and yes, it's a tutorial, but it's a genuine game that you're playing, and it's really cool, really cool. And then of course I did check out a bunch of other people's creations, and I'm like, how the fuck, you know, people make the most craziest shit that I just don't understand how it's possible, but they do, and it's incredible. This was also a great system to play older AAA games, so stuff that I did for back in the backlog like Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. Somehow the best version is on Switch. Okami HD, great way to play, is on Switch. And then you did have some current AAA third party like Mortal Kombat 11, which I really enjoyed and played and finished on Switch. You know, you had third-party exclusives at the time, like Octopath Traveler. You had Monster Hunter Rise that was exclusive for a year, but you know, a year passed by, it don't matter. You could play it on anywhere. But it was made for the Switch, you know, and that's huge. Those were some big games that was like, oh damn, that looks really cool. Something like Starlink might as well be an exclusive for Switch because it had exclusive content that was super Nintendo catered with the Star Fox stuff. I mean, you could literally play as Fox for the whole game. Like that's some pretty cool shit right there, you know? And that was your Star Fox representation for Switch, essentially. But the people that love that game, love that game. Then you had an outpouring of indie games. So many indie games that were on this platform that would launch first on Switch or just come a little bit later or day and date. Like if you were an indie developer, a lot of the times they were on Switch. It's a no-brainer of a platform to put it on. If you're just looking at the library as a whole, when you include, you know, new games, ports, remakes, remasters, like the library is insane. And if anyone, again, someone like me that goes back and plays older games, sometimes you get those definitive versions like Knights of the Old Republic that is one of the greatest games of all time. You're like, it's so bizarre, and it's just like, wow, they really have a lot on this platform. The Borderlands trilogy, you got the BioShock collection, you got the Metro games, you got the Batman Arkham games. There's so much goodness on this platform that if you were just a Switch guy, you had a lot of games to play. And you still have a lot of games to play. There's still games that are going to be coming out. That's why the software library is just insane. You know, from Nintendo, I think it's their best software lineup. Like, genuinely, I think about it, I'm like, you know, obviously, as someone who has not explored a ton of Super Nintendo and like N64 and probably GameCube too. I mean, realistically, a lot of the older consoles. Yeah, of course, I enjoy this console more, this software lineup. But to be fair, I think a lot of older people that have explored those other generations would agree with me also that this probably is Nintendo's best software lineup, because it's unbelievable what you got in here. You got some of the peak of peak. Again, Zelda peak, Mario peak, Kirby potentially peak. I know people love Forgotten Land, so it's like Smash peak. I mean, look, you just keep going. That's why I just think generally this is probably their best software lineup ever, and that's just, I mean, damn, that's crazy. That's crazy, and that's why Switch 2 is gonna be hard to top, to be honest with you. But I believe they could. I believe they could. As for some cons that happened with the system, you know, you had the Joy-Con drift. You know, that was a big thing for the console. I did get Joy-Con drift at one point, sent to Nintendo, came back, and I actually still use those same Joy-Cons. They've been fine. You know, paid online, you know, that's unfortunate that they started getting into that. It is cheap, especially when you compare it to the other, you know, Sony and Microsoft stuff. And it's definitely cheap now. Like, they keep raising the price on PS Plus and Xbox, and they're, I guess, just Game Pass now. It is. And honestly, now I do think it is worth it for sure, because I mean, you got NES, Super Nintendo, N64, and well, I was gonna say and GameCube. Now it's Switch 2, but you get for Switch 2, but for Switch 1, Game Boy Advance, Sega Genesis, like that's a fuck ton of games. It's even hard for me not to be like I like to play games on the original hardware and all that type of stuff. But then you look at Sony and like, damn, they got a lot of gaming to do. I could just play it on Switch, but I'm like, I still want to play the original hardware. But it's like, if you want to discover Nintendo's classics, like, you got so much content there. There's so much. It's an overwhelming amount for you know, well, $40-50 a year if you have the Nintendo expansion pack, which comes with some of the DLCs for stuff like Animal Crossing, Peak. I mean, like, you know, that's my most played game is Animal Crossing New Horizons, and that was just you know, to see all these Nintendo franchises in HD for the first time, because Wii U, you had a lot, but there's also a lot that didn't make it on Wii U, and that is one of them. Animal Crossing, Metroid, stuff like that. It's like, holy shit, seeing those type of games for the first time for an HD is just nuts. It looks gorgeous. But yeah, I would say that's like the only cons for the system is you know, the fact that they introduced pay online. and I still believe I think you should be able to purchase those older games separately. I wish you could. I would personally, because I don't like to be having my games tied to a subscription service. I just don't. It doesn't make sense to me. And then the Joy-Con drift, but also another one is the lack of charm for the system. That's why I say the Wii U is my favorite console of all time. It's not my favorite software lineup of all time, but it is my favorite console of all time because of Miiverse, because of the Wada Wada Plaza, the eShop, the music, all that is just that Nintendo charm, and I loved Miiverse so damn much. But the Switch 2 has nothing. We all say there's no themes, it's all blank, and there's no like music, nothing. Again, I will always say, if they brought back Miiverse in some capacity for Switch 2 or Switch 1, you did it. That's all I need. I need Miiverse personally. But obviously themes would be a good thing for people. I'm not too big on themes. I don't really care about that. But I do care about the atmosphere, the ambiance, the music, and all that. I love that. And of course, Miiverse. But as what the console does, play games. Holy shit, Tola, you play a lot of games. There's a lot of games to play. So many. That it's just like, holy crap. Again, from so many different franchises and genres and new IPs. Like they also did, again, Ring Fit Adventure is one of the best new IPs in a long time. Astral Chain, fantastic. Like they had new shit, ARMS. I mean, come on. And then I will always go back to the fact that this is a console handheld hybrid. That is amazing. This is what they need to do for forever now. And I love it. I love the fact that we don't have to have two different consoles anymore. Technology has caught up to the point where you could make these powerful ass handhelds that are also consoles that you could play on the TV, that you could play on the go. You could just play in any form factor. It doesn't matter. Where a handheld console, it don't matter. What is it? It's a handheld console hybrid. And it just made that so cool. I mean, everyone starts doing it now. Steam Deck, you got the other handheld PCs. You got Xbox about to make a handheld. There's rumors of Sony making a handheld for the PS6. Handhelds are back because of Nintendo. You know what I mean? Handhelds are gonna be dead, blah, blah, blah. But then Nintendo was like, yeah, we're not gonna make a handheld. We're not gonna make a console. We're gonna make both. So we could cater to both audiences. It's right here, and we're just going to combine the two efforts and make one very special package, and that is the Nintendo Switch. It's crazy. The Nintendo Switch generation is fantastic, and again, for me personally, like, I still have plenty to play. I do very much look forward to playing Forgotten Land, Emio, and Xenoblade, and Mario Luigi, and Prince Peach Showtime, and Pikmin 4, I forgot. Yeah, Pikmin 4. I mean, there's games, bro. There's a lot of games left that I'm still playing. Today I played some Smash Brothers Ultimate. I mean, that game is nuts. Look at Smash Brothers Ultimate. You're like, what the fuck? That shit's crazy. Shit's crazy. What they're able to do, the companies that were collaborating, is nuts. So yeah, the Switch generation is fantastic. It still is fantastic. And looking back at it, it's an accomplishment that I don't think many other gaming companies could ever do. Switch is just that Nintendo goodness, man. There's so much fantastic content from Nintendo that whether it's the physical games that they put out retail or digital games, like you got Box Boy, you got Kirby's Dream Buffet, there you got Good Job. I like all those, man. They're all really damn good, and they're all unique in their own way. And again, so many different genres. I don't know. It's crazy to me. You did it, Nintendo. You killed it. You absolutely killed it. You did fantastic. I don't know how you're gonna top it with Switch 2, but I do believe you could, because as long as you keep making cool ass games for another decade, I mean, shit, you're already doing it with Mario Kart and Donkey Kong. Now, if you add in the other genre, the other franchise you typically do with some newer stuff, you technically will top Switch 1. I don't know, but it's crazy. Open world Mario Kart on day one? Fuck! Can't wait. But yeah, Nintendo Switch, you are fantastic. You still are fantastic, sir. and I will continue to play with you for quite a while. Honestly, generally, it's probably going to be another, again, probably another 3 or 4 years till I'm done with the Switch lineup of games. But yeah, what did you think of the Switch generation? What was your relationship with it? What were you thinking about it? I mean, if you play games, if you like games, you like genres, Switch got them. Nintendo Switch has games. Remember that meme? It does. God damn, it does. I don't care for the Wii U ports and stuff like that. That was some things back then when the earlier started. We're like, oh my god. But looking in hindsight now, it's like it just doesn't matter, man. Again, the console library just continues to grow, whether it's new or older games. Like it's a stacked fucking library, and it just is crazy. And first party wise, ain't no one topping this. No one's topping this. The only person topping this is Nintendo Switch 2. Microsoft and Sony and Microsoft definitely, because they just be putting their games on the other consoles anyway. And Sony got stuff on PC also. But it's like, just in terms of first party, even if you include PC, like, come on, bro. It ain't happening. That shit crazy what they did with the Switch, man. It's crazy. But yeah. Thank you so much for watching. Look forward to Switch 2 in 2 weeks. I'll definitely have a video unboxing. You probably, by the time you're watching this, the Switch 2 might already be out. By the time you're watching this, the Switch 3 might be out. I don't know. It's crazy. I don't know when you're watching this. Could be 10 years from now, 20 years from now. I might be gone. It might be 57 years from now. Oh, I hope I'm still alive then. I'm only 26. So I should be still alive for that. But 100 years from now. There you go. But yeah. See you guys next time. I'm rambling, but man, what a generation. What a generation.
Focus on the docket. Straight jokes, paying quotes, emotions always wildin'. Came close, made posts, someone's always smiling. Saved hope, wave mode, problems always piling. Straight slow, change low, got a lot of mileage. Every day